Welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. We are presented by Specs. We're inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. I got the fan show guys with me, and Alex and Luke. We'll probably not talk to Luke because they can't hear him, but they can hear Alex. Gentlemen, favorite part of the show?
Oh, McGee and Swope. Those guys are good.
Yep.
They're fun.
Stealing my thunder, but yeah, I love them.
I didn't get to catch a lot of side meetings, but I always loved Jim Turner. I mean, he was going off the rails a little bit today. It was pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, recorded, but yeah, hilarious.
Alex?
I'm going to say OB and McGee. It's hard to not laugh when they're on set.
They were testing me today. They gave me some tests to keep the composure.
Actually, you know what? My favorite part is you hosting the show.
Oh, yeah. Gee, thanks. See, I don't even know.
Did a great job.
Who's on the rewind, but guess what? If y'all aren't, you can't get mad at me today. So
That's
I hope.
Oh, we are. We made it. We made it. Give a thumbs up.
You're on it. I got it right here. Stephen McGee, Ryan Swope, Aaron Torres, Jim Turner. I don't know how you're fitting all these people on there, but you figured it out somehow. And the fan show.
Nice.
Watch
Let's go.
What I'm most excited about is our receivers. They're out there making plays, which creates big time problems for defenses. Because correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't have a guy stretching the field vertically in the back end that they're respecting, man, it makes it difficult. So now it opens up a whole nother opportunity for a run game, short throws. So when you got a guy like Mario Craver out there making plays, not to mention his yak percentage is incredible.
Yeah.
It opens up a lot of short stuff underneath.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. You know, obviously I think 7 and 1 are going to eat this year. And when you have two guys that can really take over football games like that, it just opens up your offense. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do. I think 7 will have he's next to have a breakout game just like Mario did.
Yeah, there he's
Look
making
at
a
these
big
guys,
catch.
man.
But and think about it like what those two. You say one guy that can, a guy that the defense has to respect. A&M's got 2. Then you factor in, okay, well you got Terry Bussey too.
For
so
sure.
it's almost like too many guys who account for the opposing defenses.
How about
sure.
these running backs out of the backfield?
Well,
Yep.
that too. I mean,
See that little running back seam versus single high? Hit him right there in that little cover 3 hole. You know what I'm
I
talking
love
about?
it.
2
Yeah,
hitch, boom,
Yeah.
balls out.
Oh, 1 hitch, not 2.
1 hitch, sorry,
Get
one
it
hitch.
right,
I've seen enough film room. I should know.
Get
Yeah.
relaxed.
Golly, how this is, one of the first big wins A&M has had early on in the season since probably about 2020 when they beat Florida at home. So just what's your confidence level that A&M can stay in that playoff conversation?
Yeah, first of all, Nick, you can inform me. I know there were stats about consecutive road losses and then consecutive losses to ranked opponents. So, not even necessarily this week, but kind of in that, as you said, 2021 to 23, 24 type range. But what I'll say is this, is that, listen, we all look at teams on a piece of paper in July and August and assume some things. But then games get played and stuff matters. And so I think when you're talking about Texas A&M, I go to the fact that, one, certainly especially last week, they looked as good as anyone could have hoped or imagined. But I think we also have to call a spade and say that a lot of teams on their schedule that I think we all kind of looked at as either toss-up games or that's going to be really tough. Now all of a sudden it doesn't look that tough. I think part of, and I'm not trying to make this a Texas segment. I'm not trying to bash Texas just because I'm on an Aggie station. But, I think part of the concern you have to have if you're a Texas fan is that, every game that you're going into right now, the other team is going to have the better quarterback. That's not just a Texas A&M thing. I think that's Arkansas when you play Arkansas with Taylor Green. I think that's, Oklahoma with John Mateer. And so I bring it up because that Texas game looked like it was going to be a real challenge, and it still will be. But it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be the challenge that we thought it was going to be in August and July. Oh, by the way, same with South Carolina. They can't move the football right now. I know Lenora Sellers was hurt last week, but I think they have big issues. Florida certainly has plenty of issues as they get set to come to College Station in a few weeks. And so I know there are some teams that are probably a little bit better than we thought, probably starting with the game next week against Auburn, who I think is a legitimately good team. I don't think they're quite playoff caliber, but like an 8-4 type team. But I think if you're talking about the teams that on paper look worse than we thought they would, 2 months ago, a lot of those teams are on Texas A&M's schedule, and a lot of those games were, frankly, games that I think a lot of people looked at in the fall and gave the advantage to the other team.
Yeah,
and I don't know that we would do that anymore.
The offensive line has given up 1 sack this year. How have they played in your eyes?
Yeah, this was the test, right? So I discount the first 2 games. Those were great warm-ups for the team, and I love the fact that they do that for them. It's excellent. But this was the first real test, and I thought that the line passed with flying colors, right? I thought they did a great job. I think the biggest thing is, right, if there's a weakness right now, and I'm just being honest, taking a shot at the kid, but I'm being honest, and he knows it, is 78, right? So he had 5 penalties in that game. Now, one of those penalties was absolutely ridiculous call. Okay, you have a thing as an offensive lineman when you're pass blocking, it's a trap, right? So you pass and you throw your hands on him. He's got his hands on you, and you knock his hands down. It's a trap. They call it a trap, right? It's a trap technique. And he did that about as well as you could do. And you could see it on the replay. And to the announcer's credit, he did say, I really don't see what the penalty is. And usually they don't have the balls to say it, right? But he said it. And I was thinking the same thing, you know what I mean? I had my supers all over my face and my shirt and all that. I was like, Jesus. You know, because I know the kid's working his butt off. He's a good player. But he had four offsides as well, false starts. And he has to get that under control because it's going to hurt them in a big game. It almost hurt them the other night. So other than that, you know, everybody played really well. You can see them, their pass protection is elite. Their run blocking is very good. You know, they ran number 8, 20 times in that game. And we both said that last week. It had to be that way to win this football game. And both the run games were good. Their run game did a good job. Our run game did a good job. So there was enough balance there. And now you have these weapons, right, that just showed up, right? I know everybody knows about 7, and I was excited about 7, right? But I really don't care until they actually show me the money, right? So number 1 to me is an absolute, he's got to be one of the top 3 receivers in the country right now. I shouldn't say that because I jinxed the kid. And if he hears it, he's going to be like, oh, you're hearing that a lot right now. I heard somebody say something about him for the Heisman Trophy. You know what I mean? So somebody better punch him in the face at practice and say, you didn't win the Heisman Trophy yet.
Not yet.
And I know obviously they'll do a good job at handling all that, but they have some weapons, man. If you have 8 on the field, 7 on the field, 1 on the field, and then you have 10 playing quarterback, right? I mean, come on, you got a serious offensive weapons right there.
Everywhere we went to the Cubs game. The Cubs game, by the way, Wrigley is awesome. Bucket list. Got to go to Wrigley.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But to go to Wrigley and see people that you know that you don't even know are going to the game everywhere, it was kind of. I mean, I saw as many people at the Cubs game as I feel like I'd see it at Bluebell. You know, so that was awesome. I mean, thousands of us at the Cubs game. The famous organ that plays, they played the War Hymn on there, which was super cool. And then to get to go to South Bend, and I mean the campus is beautiful. It really is beautiful. It's tiny. I mean, it's way smaller than you think it is. I mean, we think about this monstrosity of a campus here, but this place is tiny, but it's beautiful. It's all iconic stuff you've seen tons of times, especially if you've seen Rudy. Walking around campus, checking all that out, and then to get in that, and they were wonderful fans. We had no issues with them, and I haven't really heard many people say they had any issues with the Notre Dame fans. They were all like, "Welcome to Notre Dame." They welcomed us into their tailgates, and but everybody was super nice. And then to get into the game and to I mean, when we got in the stadium to see that much maroon, it was nuts. And the game itself was I mean, that makes it even better. I mean, again, I went to Gainesville last year. That game was kind of in hand fairly early. I mean, we had that game won pretty soon. It seemed like there was no, but this one to go all the way down to the wire and to hear that stadium. The coolest part was to hear that stadium go dead silent, us and them on that last, because we couldn't see. No one could tell if he caught that ball or not. And to hear, I mean, they're going raucous, and then the pass goes. Everyone goes dead silent. And then he catches it, and of course, where we were sitting about 20, 25-yard line to look down, and we couldn't tell. And all I was doing was watching that rep. And as soon as those hands went up, it was like a home game. It was that loud. We exploded.
It was noticeable on TV.
Yeah, it was It was an absolutely. I feel bad about rubbing it in on all the FOMO folks. Like poor Hunter was like he hated missing out on it, but what a game! What an experience! I hated that. I mean, we hadn't been there in 25 years, so it'll probably be another 25 years before we go back to something like that. But man alive, that was so fun, and what a game! What a winner!
All right, gentlemen, what do we got to do?
Like,
Subscribe.
comment.
Share.
Alex, what'd they forget?
Turn on post notifications.
Nice.
Share.
I'll take it.
TexAgs Live.
See you tomorrow.